Welcome back to another video by Recap Studio. Today we'll go through the story of a misguided faith healing that grants a tormented teenager extraordinary magic powers. When his lifelong persecutors pull a trick on him and kill somebody he cares about, he utilizes his powers for revenge and embarks on a deadly rampage to settle things. A teenage boy suffers from a peculiar ailment that causes him to want unusual food such as paper, plastic, and anything other than typical cuisine. Because he is exhausted and unable to move, his mother calls a doctor to the house. The doctor is unable to treat him and refers them to a psychiatrist. When Kelly's mother walks to the grocery, she sees Pfluger, who claims to have the power to treat people and says that God gave him his talent to share with any patient and assist him in therapy. Kelly's mother approaches him and informs him about her son. He agrees to accompany her home, and she leaves to fetch her car. While he waits, Red Elk reaches him and asks him to stop taking the drug that he refuses because it makes him feel strong. But he warns him that this is bad conduct, and the medicine might turn him against him and destroy him. Red Elk loses control and smacks Pfluger in the face, startling the one who feels the agony. Is Riddick, even though he's the one who hit. When Pfluger first sees Kelly, he notices him unconsciously sleeping in front of him. When he begins healing him, he places his hand on Kelly, but he experiences extreme agony throughout his body. Pfluger's hands drops a cigarette on Kelly's body, and he burns him. He continues to experience pain till he collapses and dies. Kelly awakens from his sickness, although he is in much better condition. They contact the police, who sees the body and inform them that he was a con artist. The police want to transport Kelly to the hospital as he has been burned by the cigarette, and they are astonished because the burn is entirely gone. Kelly attempts to mend his bike the next day, but is hurt in his hand, which is swiftly healed. He rushes to his mother to tell her what occurred, but she doesn't believe him, and she's glad since her son is improved, especially since the last time she saw him. He rides his bike and goes, but it stops working again, and he sees Dominic, who is happy to see him in better health. Meanwhile, Reed appears and starts hitting him because he talks to Dominic. Still, Kelly noticed that he wouldn't get hurt, so he provoked Reed a lot to hit him, and he kept hitting Kelly. But Reed is the one who gets injured, and his face is bleeding a lot, and he tells him that he's a monster. After finishing his school day, he returns to his mother to tell her what happened, but he finds his school coach knocking on their door. Reed's father knows that his son bullies Kelly, but he doesn't know how he gets injured. He believes that Kelly can't beat his son because he is more substantial. Kelly's mother begins to defend her son, and she closes the door. Kelly wants to explain what happened, so he asks his mother to squeeze his arm, but she is the one who gets hurt, and he doesn't feel any pain. So she tells him not to tell anybody about his power, and it's just a secret between them. He goes to school on the second day, and one of the students tries to bully and beat him, but the boy feels that he gets hit from behind. At the end of the day, he attends the school party, where Nelson and his friends are harassing Dominic, but Kelly defends her. Still, the coach keeps them apart to prevent any problems or quarrels. After the party, everyone goes home, and Nelson rides a car with his friend, Brad. Brad notices Kelly riding his bike alongside them. He's harassed and intimidated by a gang of bullies. Brad speeds and drops Kelly's bike, knocking him down and stepping on him by the vehicle. But it is Brad who dies, not Kelly. The police came and begun investigating Brad's friends, but they said that it was Kelly's fault because he was in the center of the street. His mother tells him to invent a story so that the police don't know about his superpowers. All of this happens in front of Dominic, and now she knows that Kelly is not affected by anything. Brad's friends wanted revenge, and they decided to destroy the place where he lived. When Kelly arrived home, he found that his mother was ill and couldn't go out to buy medicine from the pharmacy, so he took her to the drugstore to get medication. They hitched the house truck with their car and began to pull it away, but the house was ruined, the stove shattered, and the area exploded. Kelly tries to save his mother, but unfortunately she dies. Red Elk comes to the hospital and tells the policeman that Kelly owns something for his grandparents, and it's medicine. Still, the policeman refuses to hear any talk about Kelly. The policeman then arrives to relocate him to his new place. He asks Kelly whether there was a large earthquake or someone attempted to move the truck from its location because the investigators revealed that the rocks on which the van was resting were pulled, resulting in the explosion. Nelson and his friends in the car are mocking and taunting him. Kelly threw himself from the car, forcing the police to halt. He is determined to exact his revenge on them in the end. As his powers allow him to manipulate others, he begins to hang himself with the t-shirt if he has anything connected to the person wishing to hurt him. Tucker finds it impossible to breathe while in the water, and he drowns and dies. Before Kelly continues to murder the others, a police officer arrives seeking Kelly since he fled from his car before Kelly departed from the location. He tells Nelson that he will be the next victim. Nelson and Tony are in the school lab when Kelly walks in to annoy them. Tony throws materials on his face and Kelly's face burns, but it heals rapidly while Tony burns and collapses to the ground. Kelly starts asking Nelson what happened to his mother, and accepts if he was the one who caused that disaster. The cop then enters the lab and tries to save Tony from death, while Kelly flees and hides in his house, and Nelson wishes to practice beside their coach's father. Meanwhile, the police officer is concerned about the situation, but his father vows to train him regardless of what happens. Kelly gets Nelson's clothes and eats a piece of it to torment him, and discovers a drill machine, which he takes and stands in front of them. Nelson is tortured by Kelly, who inserts the drill into his knee. Nelson is in a lot of pain. Coach seizes the officer's pistol and shoots Kelly. The coach dies due to his attempt to hurt Kelly, and Nelson dies due to Kelly eating a part of his garments. Dominic is present and she cries, telling him that the power hurts him more than it helps him. She persuades him to give up this power with the assistance of Red Elk and a policeman they meet in Pfluger's cemetery. Red Elk begins the preparations, but Kelly has convulsions. Dominic foresees Kelly's death as a result of the ritual. Kelly tells her to go when he cries, but a police officer fires at them before they can. Kelly and Dominic tumble to Pfluger's grave. He discovers that his girlfriend died and he chooses to commit suicide by eating Pfluger's heart in his grave, till Kelly feels anguish and dies right beside her. When the ambulance carries dead bodies of them, suddenly Dominic sits. She itches her wounds and the movie ends with leaving the question: what if she had gotten the same superpowers as Kelly had? And that was all from the video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe for more content like this and hit the like button to help us out. Also leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Until next time, take care.